he felt that we should approach the album with the idea that it had taken us 25 years to get to this point, which was a novel way of looking at what we do. So he wanted to make the definitive Cure album, and so in order to achieve that, I felt that I needed to draw on what we've done in the past, pull all the best bits out, the bits that I enjoyed most, and kind of rework some of the themes. I think that there are passion and intensity that comes from playing the songs live that's probably missing from some of our other Cure albums. But I think Wildflowers is a very in order that a lot of the mainstream media currently are able to reintroduce the Cure into the world, kind of thing, and acknowledge the fact that we still exist. The trade-off has been, I'm beginning to notice the trade-off, is that Wildflowers wasn't such a good record. So actually swapping around the re-release schedule has been relatively painless. If we signed to one of the other majors, I think it would have been very difficult because they were scheduled to be released now, I think. That's it. The same week as the new album. So I think they've been put back to October probably. Because I think that there will probably be a second single off this record, and it's all to do with, don't confuse the buyout. Because they might boxes of tapes. So I think that I end the cassette years with the Kiss Me album. After that, everything moves on to that. So that's kind of how I'm thinking of it. I shall hopefully leave the 1980s behind sometime in January 2005.
Another question about the new album. I read somewhere that the sound of the new album, especially the guitar, do you tell us more about that?
Well, Ross is a real fan of vintage gear, and he wanted us to, I mean, everything was recorded kind of analog through an old EMI board, and I've never thrown the guitar away, so I've got a lot of guitars. Usually I have a particular guitar for a particular album, and then I usually play it on the tour, and then it kind of gets put away. So, in fact, I did use them for the trilogy film that we did, because when we did the Pornography set, I used the Pornography guitar, Fender Jazz Monster, and used the National, when we did Disintegration, and the 6-string bass, and whatever I used for profiles, Gibson, Jag. But Ross sort of looked at them all, and I admired this in him. He actually picked the ones that had the best look, best shape, and that's how I pick guitars as well. But the amplifiers is a bit more professional, which I thought actually sounded pretty crap in the room, but it was amazing. Like, I mean, what he does really well is actually piece the sounds together. So he would spend a long time, and in his head he could hear what we were going to end up with. So the individual sound of my guitar, at times I was thinking, like, this is so wrong. And yet when I go into the control and listen to the whole band playing, it would sound really good. So the first week there was a lot of that going on, and like, I wasn't sure how much control to kind of hand over, because I was in. But the first time we had the advantage of, we'd been playing the songs for about at least 6 months, any of those songs. And we recorded about 23, 24 songs for the first album. I mean, some of those are on the extras disc. Some of them are extraordinarily bad. They really are. We did this really funny concept set of songs called Spring, Summer, Autumn, and Guess What? And Jan had finished recording on the day, so we didn't have to pay for the studio time, because we needed people we need some people who could get us into the studio. And so we used their equipment as well. So Chris Parry, who was producing it, said, the third night we'll mix it, and the first 2 nights just record everything you do, everything you've ever played. And thankfully, in the back of my mind, there's this voice saying, don't do those school songs. But we did, in the end, we did do Winter, and it was the only time that Michael Dempsey was drunk. It really is, it's like, it's embarrassing. But it was easy because everything's a first take, because we just treated it as if we were doing another show, and we literally just stood in the room and just played to the glass, and then you play, do another one. But I was slightly put out by the first album. I mean, that's why we never had a producer again for 25 years, because I actually hated the control being taken away from me as to what went on the album, because I agreed that we would play everything on the understanding. It's like David Batty taking an England penalty. So something like, why did you just sing that? You might have already seen it, Robert. It's like, I just answered it. And then it was on the album, and everyone thought it was me, which made it even worse. But I've forgotten all that.
Okay.
Hi, Talia from Mac 19.
Like,
This is getting back to Ross Robinson's group therapy, the one he put you through. Did that inspire